Hello, and welcome to the autobiography of Dwayne Dickerson. I've decided to use VR Google Maps to show you a little bit of where I've been and who I was before I became who I am. And this is going to be a 30-minute segment broken down throughout the life of Dwayne Dickerson. So, without further ado, let's just tell you a little bit of the backstory with us starting with the timer. So, I don't know what the title, the name of the book is going to be, but we'll just keep it on autobiography for right now. So, setting the stage, picture it. Monroe, Michigan, November 1st, 1977. A young military officer stationed far from home wanders the streets in search of a familiar face and a glass of Hennessy. Finally, he happens upon a dusty little cafe where he finds both. The man laughs for the first time in months and finds inspiration in a local beautiful girl, real wise beyond her years. When the cafe is closed, she takes him home with her, and for 3 glorious days and 3 fabulous nights they make love and drink wine. He returned to his command, ready to lead him and his people through anything that came before them. That young girl was Miss Cherie Lynn Evans, and that young man was Charlie something something Page. That's an inside joke I like to tell. I'll tell more in my story, my book. Anyway, 9 months later, on July 24th, 1978, at approximately 12:06 p.m., Dwayne Lamont Dickerson Jr. was born into the world at Mercy Memorial. Hold on. My book is falling out my lap. I need this. And two. Okay. Where was I? Where was I? Mercy Memorial Hospital in Monroe, Michigan, weighing in about 5 pounds. The doctor said I had a really big stomach, and they didn't know what was wrong with me. I don't know why this is happening. Things, I don't know. Anyway, they didn't know what was wrong with me. Plus, the top of my head was bald, and I had hair around the sides and the back. My family members thought I looked like a little old man, so they called me Old Man. The hospital said that my mother could take me home, but I probably wouldn't live the rest of the month. And here I am, 46 years later, soon to be 47. There's not too much to remember between the year 1 and year 3, except being babysit by my Aunt K.E. I'll just call them by their initials because they're irrelevant to the story, but they're relevant to the fact of the family. And being left on her bed watching TV while a clown hung on the right corner ceiling full of baby diapers. That thing scared me a little bit something fierce. I don't remember where she lived at the time, but that's irrelevant too. Another one memory is being in my Aunt S.E.'s house and being confined to a bedroom that had clothes all over the floor with a cousin or two until someone came and scooped me up, taking me to someone else's house to be watched. There was this one time when we were in Greenwood Apartments. Let us go there, shall we? Greenwood Apartments. Oh, I am underneath the apartments. I believe we stayed somewhere over here. I'm not really sure. I was 3. It was either over here or over there. It's probably over here. But I do remember pushing the car over here. I don't remember. I was 3. Anyway, as I was saying, there was this one time when we were in Greenwood Apartments, and I had cousins around, and they had their friends around, and my siblings, uh, my sister, I guess, had friends around, and my parental was out there with her siblings and their friends and whatnot. I had one of those play school station wagon cars, not the one that was red and orange, but the one that was green with a tan top. So my cousin D.E. was riding on the top of it, while my sister E.E. was in it with me, and I couldn't touch the ground or the steering wheel. So it was like a remote control car, pretty much. They took me everywhere. I loved it. One time, my mother walked me and my sister down to the corner store and she ordered us some Superman ice cream. That corner store is. Let me see if I can find it. I should have put markers in here. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, should I come back to the Greenwood Apartments really quick so I can show you that area up close? Can I even get in this piece? Greenwood Apartments, up close and personal. Nice little place. It looks almost the same as it did then. Now. Now let's get out of here. And go back over there, which was approximately right here. To this corner store. So, continuing right along. Yeah. I'm reading from a book, if you must know, that I already wrote. Okay. Oh, that was way too far. All right. So, she walked us. Okay. One time, my mother walked me and my sister down to the corner store, and she ordered us some Superman ice cream. We sat on the stairs, as you see, of the store leading to the street to eat the ice cream as my mother helped my sister and me with our wrappers. You couldn't have wrote a better dream to have. The way the Superman ice cream touched my tongue, it was like being kissed by a female god. I was in love for the first time. And just then, like no time had even passed by whatsoever, I was 3 years old. And I remember taking a long trip in a green boxcar with my mom and a couple of her siblings. I had a Fred Flintstone shaped bottle where the nipple part was mostly chewed off at the top because I was 3 and too old for a bottle anyway. But I carried that thing around with me everywhere. It was a collector's item. I remember for some odd reason, I just wanted to toss it out the window, and there it went. They stopped, pulled over, got the bottle, and gave it back to me. Got back in the car and drove off. While they're driving off again, for whatever reason, I tossed it out the window again, and they kept on driving. To let my mother tell it, she said, "We never stopped. We kept on driving the first time." That was a sad memory. I remember, for whatever reason, my mother leaving and me and my sister got separated. I don't know where my sister went because I believe she went to the foster home with me, but then our grandparents took her, and so she ended up living with my grandparents while I stayed in the foster home for an extra day until my father's mother came to get me and take me to her home in Ohio. Now, where I don't know because I never remembered that part of my life. I do remember the life part, but I don't remember where in Toledo, Ohio, or where in Ohio in general that was. You know what I mean? Anyway, while I was at my father's mother's house, DD Sr., Dwayne Dickerson Sr., I don't really remember what her full name was. It was like Mary or something, I think. Being there for 3 days and 2 nights were where I figured out that the place was haunted because I saw a lot of things running around and I saw a lot of reenactments happening, which was really weird at the time at 3 o'clock in the morning. And that was during the nighttime. During the daytime, I remember being placed in the backyard to play with one of my cousins on my father's side. And we were at a barbecue one time with everybody in the backyard. Next thing you know, one of the taller uncles, probably my uncle Ronnie, if that's his name, I think it's Ronnie, or something like that. He grapples me and my cousin up and lifts us up on top of the shed, the barbecue pit, and the place, and places us uh, on top of the rooftop. Now I'm already petrified of heights, so I'm not really trying to go nowhere. And my cousin, he just starts standing up there, panicking, crying, having a fit. And my grandmother told my uncle to take us off of the rooftop and bring us back down to the earth. And he did so. And so we ran into the house scared and didn't go back out to the backyard with that fiasco the rest of the night. The next day, however, my cousin and I the one from my father's side of the family, were outside in the back playing, and my cousin decided he wants to climb up on top of the rooftop of this shed. And since it's my cousin, I'm down. So we climb up on top of the rooftop by ourselves, like the 3-year-old, 4-year-old men we were. And we get up there to the top, and we have conquered and survived the whole journey. And we just look at ourselves as men amongst men. And then our grandmother was in the doorway with an anger face. She took us down from their rooftop and brought us into the house, upstairs to her room, and we got the wire hanger treatment to our backsides. I don't remember how many lashes he got, but I significantly remember getting hit at least 4 or 5 times on my bottom. And then it and then I did not want to be there anymore. I started wishing that I didn't want to be there no more and that I wanted to be somewhere else, anywhere else. Next thing you know, my grandparents showed up from my mother's side of the family later on that night. They brought me a piggy bank shaped like a giant Tootsie Roll and had pennies in it, of course, and took me back home with them to live with my sister and my older cousin D.E. That was the first time that I realized that my words were powerful. Between the age of 4 and 14, my grandparents had custody of me and my sister. Well, my sister would have been like 17, I think. Uh, whatever. We are like 3 years apart from each other. And so when I was 4, she was 7. And when I was 14, she was 17. Anyway, during that time, I had countless strange, unearthly happenings happen to me. Unfortunately, they didn't want to keep me at the time, so they had my uncle J.E. take care of me with his family, R.E., and their kids K.E., M.E., and P.E., which was, oh, where are we? Yes, okay. Past the river, not past the quarry, down this way, near the factory, over yonder, at this house right here. And this is where I first learned to ride a bike. This house right here, on whatever street this is, I can't remember. Later on in the years, one of my aunts lived there, K.E., but that's besides the point. This is where my uncle J.E. lived with R.E. and K.E. and M.E. and P.E. I had a girl at this house here that I had a crush on, a little white fat girl. They used to call me Kermit, and they used to call her Miss Piggy, which was kind of funny, you know. Anyway, I started my Jehovah's Witness experience from there on, because they were Jehovah's Witnesses. Um, my first ever aware thoughts of consciousness were me going with my uncle, aunt, and 3 female cousins to church every single day, and sometimes nights, specifically to the Kingdom Hall Church of Jehovah's Witnesses. We went to church so much that we had Sunday school at other church goers' houses. But while at church, I used to always sit in the front row with my uncle and aunt, where I can see all the decorations there. There was a 12-inch stage in front of the front row that had a mural on the wall behind the stage of paradise with Jesus, the animals, random different peoples. There was an altar in the middle of the stage where the preacher taught. There was carpet all in this church everywhere. They had a library in the back of the church that had at least 500 books in it from the floor to the ceiling on their shelves. And there was a big window that you could see from the pews on the outside to the lounge library on the inside. All the walls were cream colored with a dark teal brown barrier around the bottom of all the walls to the carpet. All the lights for chandeliers and bright white all the lights that were chandeliers were bright white. They were the kind of chandeliers that looked like they had candles, but not flames, just a bulb illuminating the whole room. Sometimes, when I had to go to the bathroom, one of my cousins would take me to the females' bathroom, where I would be left alone to fall asleep on the couch that was in the bathroom. It was a wraparound couch in the middle of the bathroom, wraparound facing outward, so it kind of looked like a dreidel top. I remember it was such a fully furnished bathroom with carpet on the floors, a wraparound love seat in the middle of and pictures on the cream color walls. It would be so boring at church that sometimes I would fall asleep in the bathrooms on the couch just because. Heck, sometimes I used to fall asleep in the pews. I was only 4. When we were in church, we were home. Oh, wait. When we weren't in church, we were home with no television, no radio, no games, and no entertainment. All we had was good Bible studies, grilled cheese sandwiches, and tomato soup. We didn't celebrate any holidays, and as matter of fact, I didn't celebrate my 5th birthday there. I just was 5 years old eventually. Although my uncle got me my first bicycle ever, I remember that it was called a kangaroo bike. It was red, like a fire engine, with the word kangaroo on the side in yellow. So I just assumed, come to think of it, I don't think I knew how to read then. Interesting. It had non-popping tires, which means you can literally cut it open and it still wouldn't get flat. My uncle told me it, all about the bike. My uncle picking me up and putting me on the seat of the bike has, as it stood up with his training wheels that were put on, then proceeded to tell me to use my legs and run with the pedals as I didn't understand what he was saying. He continued to push my seat from the back and my feet connected to the pedals so that they gradually gyrated around and around. Then I actually understood what he was saying as he let go and I took off like a bat out of hell. Still the best birthday ever. The first time I remember getting sick, well, we're going to leave that part out until the book because that's a little touchy feely. But anyway, let's just say some bad things happened, and we don't need to relive it right now on the video. We'll just save it for the book. Needless to say, um, da 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 da, skip, skip, skip. Let's look at the time. How much time we got left? 5 minutes? Okay. Oh man, Timu just loaded it up. Come on, get off Timu. Get off Timu, my boy. Alright. So, past that, past that. Do 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 do. After my eyes were open from that experience to everything, I didn't want to talk to anyone about anything, so I stopped talking for a long time. It had been at least 3 months since I said anything other than yes and no, and thank you to anybody. And so finally, my aunt R.E. began to get concerned, and she started questioning me. And talking to me, trying to get any words out of me, but all I kept on saying was no and yes. Finally, she got frustrated and said, fuck it. And like a broken record, I repeated her saying, fuck. And she looked at me, her eyes got evil. She then grabbed me by the wrist, dragging my butt into the bathroom, and continued to wash my mouth out with soap, saying, we don't say words like that in this house. When clearly I picked it up from her. After those two instances, I found myself at the park, Soldiers and Sailors, with my uncle, and we were sitting on a picnic table, him on one side, me on the other side. Let's go to that park now. Such good and bad memories from this house. I just want to get away from it already. I only got like 4 minutes left anyway. So, where are we at over here? First River, the water plant. Okay. So we're at this park, but we weren't at this part of the park. We were at this part of the park. Of Soldiers and Sailors. Because I distinctly remember seeing my aunt's house across the street, and she stayed in that apartment in the middle on the top floor. Anyway, my aunt S.E. Anyway, where were we? I skipped back. Superman. Can't save them hoes. Alright, so I remember oh, that's way back there. Jehovah's Witnesses. Oh, there we are. I lost it. It's right here though. Somewhere. Oh, okay. He told me I'd probably be happier living with my grandparents, his mother and father. Where is it at? Oh, I think I went further down to the other part of the reverberation. Probably got like 3 minutes left. Cookout. Grand. Yeah, there it is. Anyway, as I was gonna say, my uncle, there was a picnic table over there. He sat on one side and I sat on the other. He told me that I would probably be happier living with his mom and dad at their house in Toledo, Ohio, with my sister, and looking at my aunt S.E.'s house over here, and knowing from what I just came from over there, I agreed. Agreed that I would definitely be happier living with my grandparents in Toledo, Ohio. So then I was moved to, let's see if I can find it in the list here. And we're going to stop it once I find it. I mean, I could say it, but I don't want to spoil the surprise. Oh, there it is. Moved here to Old Farm Court in Toledo, Ohio, where my grandparents lived in this house. That was my sister in my room. That was my cousin D.E.'s room. Their room was on the opposite side. The living room was over here. There was a front door. They had downstairs room down there. It was like a living room, a second living room, garage right there. Of course, that's not their car right there. You know, that's not their car. But from this area, you could see it. Nice big house. I think that got added on. I don't even know what that is. Can't really see it from behind because it's all distorted and stuff. But this is where we stayed. I can't really make out the numbers. Look like it says 6171 or something. So when I stayed here, me and my sister went to Sunday school at this person's house. Uh, I'm not going to get deep into it until next time. Just tell you the basis. I had a friend here who was around my age, and uh, he had an assortment of He-Man toys, whereas I would only play with Orko and Battle Cat with his armor off, which was called Gringer at the time. And then in this house, there was another kid that was around my age or so, who also had an assortment of He-Man, but he also had the castle, the Grayskull castle, and he had the castle that Skeletor lived in. He had the purple cat that wasn't Battle Cat with Skeletor and all that stuff. He had the uh, the sorceress, which this friend over here liked to be the sorceress. Don't ask why. And he also had G.I. Joes, and we used to get his toys and go over there to his house and play. This neighborhood here, everybody watched out for everybody's kids. There was no pseudo sickos in this neighborhood whatsoever. I don't even think we had a neighborhood watch sign like most neighborhoods, regardless of the fact. Um, my cousin used to have the other kids that were around his age group over here, and they used to jump on the bikes ramps off the curbs and stuff like that. And we could do everything that we wanted in the streets. We barely ever seen cars come through, and if they did, we moved out of the way. But we were kids frolicking, and we had great time. This was some of the best years I had growing up in this household right here. But we'll get into this story next time. We're gonna get up off of here for now. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave a comment at the bottom if you did enjoy, if you want to see the rest of the story, because I'm gonna post it anyway. I didn't know I could go right there. Oh, I'm not over there. I'm right here now. I can see it even better. Yeah. Yeah, he lived right there. I don't know who lives there. I only was concerned about my peoples and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, you see like a good view from it right here. This is a good neighborhood to live in, where all these neighborhoods were all the same, you know? I do remember walking past these going to school sometimes. I went to the elementary school not so far away. I think it was like right there, probably, called Greenwood Elementary School. We'll get into it later, though. So please like, and if you haven't already, subscribed. And this is only age 5. We still got all the way up until now where I'm 46. So this is going to be a long story. But yeah, we're going to get into this. So I hope you liked it. And toodles for now.